Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, today is the start of something new, something monumental in Hong Kong. That's right, Bitcoin Spot ETFs just started trading. So, will this have any effect on Bitcoin? Let's talk about it, and let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world of crypto. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Well, Bitcoin is seeing a little mini rally right now as it sits above 64,000. In fact, we almost hit 65,000 not too long ago. And we just got confirmation that, yes, 3 Bitcoin spot ETFs will start trading today. Now, I actually went to the Hong Kong exchange, and even on the front page says Asia's very first. Okay, now that's scrolled away. There we go. Asia's first spot virtual asset ETFs launching April 30th. Yes, it's April 30th for them, right? It's on their front page. So they are launching, and we will see. Okay, but right now, there are people that think that, well, there's two sides to this. Some people think that Hong Kong's volume is not going to make a dent with Bitcoin. But some are thinking that Asia has more money than even the US. At least money that will be entering Bitcoin. The very first day Wall Street very first day when Wall Street had Bitcoin ETFs, only about 125 million went in. And it's anticipated that today alone, we may have upwards of 200 or 300 million going into Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see. It just launched 6 minutes ago, right? So while we sleep, we may, well, when I say while we sleep, those of us in the US, we may actually see Bitcoin start ticking upwards. And tomorrow, who knows? We'll be at 70,000 already. I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. But we do have spot ETFs alive and trading right now. Okay, so that is a beautiful thing. Again, this will only contribute to the supply shot that I've been talking about for so long. There is only so much Bitcoin to go around. And demand will keep on increasing. And supply will keep on decreasing. It's really that simple. Now, I see some people are asking about Ethereum ETFs, right? I think they're launching today too. I think they are launching today as well, along with Bitcoin ETFs. So we'll see. Maybe both Bitcoin and Ethereum starts moving up in a big way, not just Bitcoin. Okay? Again, we only started 8 minutes, so we'll see. But Bitcoin is ticking up. And what about Ethereum? Is Ethereum ticking up? Ethereum is not ticking up right now. Still down, but still, it's early. And you know who else decided to join the party? Michael Saylor. A small purchase, very small purchase, but they decided to buy another 122 Bitcoin for 7.8 million. And now MicroStrategy holds 214,400 Bitcoin, right? So Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, they adopted their Bitcoin strategy years ago, and it has worked out pretty well. Look at this. This is kind of surprising. Since MicroStrategy adopted their Bitcoin strategy in 2020, their stock has gone up 937%. Almost, no, it's more than double Bitcoin's performance. That is impressive. Look at that. Even compared to Google, Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, Gold, and everything else, look at MicroStrategy's stock versus everything else, right? So obviously, Michael Saylor, this morning I said I showed an interview where he said he studied thousands of hours about Bitcoin, and he came to the conclusion it's the best thing out there, right? And obviously that decision has worked and has driven MicroStrategy up to the moon right now, right? But I think Bitcoin is going to do the same, continue forward, because again, It just comes down to supply and demand. Okay. Morgan Stanley filed with SEC that they want to put Bitcoin ETFs in multiple funds that they hold. Okay. So that means, again, they're trying to give more exposure to Bitcoin Spot ETFs or Bitcoin ETFs in general. Okay. And again, demand is sky high. The demand is there among institutions, among countries, among privately held companies, among publicly traded companies, and retail investors, right? So this is all very, very positive indeed. And even though, recently I've said, hey, Bitcoin is down and there may be some volatility. I said that this morning too, right? Long term, I have absolutely zero worry about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to go higher. We have just started this parabolic cycle. Okay, we are nowhere close to the top. And I've said this before and I've shown this before. Sometimes Bitcoin does take breathers, does dip, does have volatility. Look at it. We had plenty. It's not like it's new. And I don't see how anyone could be really that bearish when we are above $60,000. In fact, we're right on 64,000, right? Do you guys remember the days when Bitcoin was below 20,000 not too long ago? Beginning of 2023, we were hovering below 20,000. And even at those levels, we had 20% crashes from 30,000 down to 24,000. We had multiple crashes. You guys remember those days? Yeah, it didn't feel too good. And I said the same thing. You hodl DCA and wait for the gains to come to you, right? Now that we are more than double from those levels, it's no different, right? Every time we go through this, a lot of people go and get really depressed just, over a little volatility. But we will get through this and we will go higher. You just have to be patient and look at the signs. Look at everything I'm showing you guys in terms of the macro conditions around the world, which is horrible. The growing fundamentals of Bitcoin, which is absolutely fantastic. And just look at the supply and demand. Demand is going up and supply is going downwards, right? And even from a TA perspective, something like this. When you have consolidation periods, generally speaking, in a bull market, that's really good because nothing goes up infinitely forever like this. There will always be breaks, consolidation periods. I've been saying basically Bitcoin has been going sideways. It hasn't been going down. It's been going sideways, right? And the last time Bitcoin went sideways for a prolonged period of time, guess what? We finally broke out and made a new high, right? Same thing with the time before. We stood even longer. Okay, months upon months upon months upon months going sideways. And guess what happened? We broke out. And that was when we were below $30,000, right? And I remember those days. A lot of people didn't want to listen to me and said that, hey, Bitcoin is dead. We're never going to form a new high. We're not going to go up. This cycle is different and this and that and blah, 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 and blah. And guess what happened? We moved upwards. Okay, like clockwork, like every single cycle, right? So just be patient. And we'll see what happens with spot ETFs and Ethereum ETFs now trading in Hong Kong, right? Will Asia FOMO in tonight or this morning for them, right? We will see. Remember the very first few days, I would say the very first week of spot ETFs in America didn't really move Bitcoin all that much. It was really like the second or third week when volume really kicked in. That's when we saw Bitcoin start skyrocketing in a big way, right? So it could be the same thing with this week. We will see, right? We will see. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin, there are some encouraging signs about alts. Okay. Here's one from Noah posted on CRU Analysis talking about how the ETH to BTC pair, right? It's close to breaking its 200-day average. And last time it did that was 2020, 4 years ago. Guess what happened then? That was basically after the halving event 4 years ago. And that's when ETH and alts started going upwards. Okay. So can something like that happen again? Well, this morning I covered how ETH fees are basically at a 6-month low. So it's almost as if people capitulated on ETH and alts altogether. And usually when that happens, that means right around the corner, there's a pump, a very good, gigantic pump that's waiting. That's usually what happens. And here's something else that shows you Bitcoin dominance versus altcoins. And if Bitcoin dominance starts going down in a big way, guess what's going to happen? Alts start pumping up to the moon, right? It's that simple. So we could be at the cusp also where we start seeing alts go up in a big way, right? Along with Bitcoin. They don't have to be like, there doesn't have to be an inverse relationship. I think most people think there has to be, like, Bitcoin needs to go down for alts to go up, or alts need to go down for Bitcoin to go. No, they could both be going up at the same time. And we have seen periods of that just a few months ago, right? We could certainly see that. And you know what? There are a lot of great things happening with some of these alts, right? For example, Avalanche. Avalanche is integrating with Stripe, so makes it easier for people to on-ramp with fiat. That's fantastic. Of course, you need that fiat on-ramp. Otherwise, no one new can actually buy crypto, right? So Stripe is getting involved and partnering with Avalanche. That's great. Avalanche is still very in tune with the meme coins, right? So they still have this meme coin rush, which basically allows you to stake your memes on Trader Joe. One-sided staking. You don't have to worry about permanent loss, right? And they just distribute about 10,000 AVAX for this program. So they are fully embracing memes in a big way. So that's fantastic. But outside of Avalanche, what else is there? Kamino Finance, which is a DEX. It's a perpetual-based DEX on Solana. Okay, they're doing awesome. They're about to airdrop some more tokens starting tomorrow. So get ready for that. A lot of you guys that have been using it, well, you're just going to get some free airdrops just for playing along, basically. And Coinbase is going to list Neon, which is basically an EVM compatible dApp. I don't know if it's a dApp or chain. I think it's more like a dApp that allows EVM dApps to come aboard to Solana, right? Very easily. And Coinbase will list them. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get a pretty gigantic bump because of it. So lots of good stuff happening in this space, guys. Do not become discouraged. Stay strong, stay focused, continue to HODL and DCA, and let the gains come to you. All right. That is it. Let's do some Q&A. All right. Let me scroll up here. Let's see if I missed anything. Let's see. Maurice is asking, what do you think the outcome will be from this Hong Kong ETF on Bitcoin's price? We'll see. Like I said, if you go back to the first week, I think even maybe the first 2 weeks, okay, for Bitcoin Spot ETFs, once they launched on Wall Street in the US, the first week, second week, kind of slow. And then volume really started picking up, and then we saw a big difference, right? And it could be something like that too. Like today and the rest of this week, first week, people are testing the waters. And then next week, that's when the true volume and true buying starts happening. Who knows? Who knows? It could be absolutely enormous. Enormous. I showed a chart this morning that show that there are more crypto users in Asia than in North America. So, you know, a lot of countries or a lot of businesses and institutions, you know, they probably were feeling the FOMO watching Bitcoin go up and the spot ETFs go up, and they couldn't participate. But now a lot of them can, right? So they may FOMO in. I don't know. I don't know how high it's going to go, but it could be very, very, very good. Let's leave it at that. Solana ETFs next. Oof, I don't know. I think XRP ETFs may come before Solana ETFs. XCN is consolidating big time. Onyx Coin, I have no idea what Onyx Coin is. 60 million, relatively small. Oof, that's a horrible, horrible looking chart. Let's see here. Made 100, Crypto Tech says, made $185 of AVAX and staking cock in about 3 weeks. That's not bad. I don't know how much you staked, but hey, it's free money, right? But there's no GBTC for Hong Kong to sell. That's, I think, a good thing, and that's key. That's key. So we may get doubled effect, okay? So while we sleep in the US, Hong Kong is pumping up Bitcoin, and then we wake up, the ETFs are pumping Bitcoin if Grayscale stops selling, right? We could have the double effect. Hopefully that's the case. Let's see. Logan is asking about Arkham and Immutable. I don't know why you need actually Arkham tokens. I'm sure they built something where you could access certain things with Arkham tokens, but you know, it's just like, I feel like it's a platform, subscription based. You don't need tokens. That's how I feel. Immutable X, I think they're good. I think they could do very well. Polygon is pushing all their games to Immutable X, so that could definitely help them in the future. Lewis says crow with knife. I'll just leave it at that. I have been to Hong Kong about, it must have been like almost 11, 12 years ago. I was in Hong Kong. I loved their railroad system. It was very clean. It was easy to get to anywhere. And they had some great food. I remember that. I would like to go back. I would like to go back. Are you paying attention to Phantom Sonic Season? Well, I know they have that Sonic upgrade. Okay. And they started having some memes. Okay. I know they have the Speedy meme. But overall, Phantom is actually doing better than I expected. I'm actually quite surprised. You know, I thought they would get lost in the shuffle, but you know what? They're hanging in there at number 50. They are still 79% down from their previous high, though. That means there is still a lot of room to grow for Phantom. Do you know why CoinStore suspended Jewel? Actually, I don't know. I didn't hear about it. That was like the only SECs that listed Jewel, right? Maybe an upgrade or something. I don't know. I'll have to ask. Why did BlackRock stop buying? Well, it's because Bitcoin started going downwards a little bit, right? So that's why. At least they're not selling. Some of the other ETFs are actually selling. Google DCTT, blah, blah. If you're not familiar, yeah, I don't. I'm not familiar. I think you're referring to how like funds can't use crypto as collateral or something like that. That doesn't make much sense for the ETFs. I'll just leave it at that. I can't believe your Dubai trip with the rain, you know. I visit for the first time and they had the worst rain in 75 years. It wasn't too bad, but it definitely made things a little bit more difficult. And it made a lot of people sour on Dubai. They're just not prepared for massive rain. We're going to see the mother of all short squeezes. I hope so. I hope so. I do feel like there are a lot of people probably pounding on the shorts right now. Okay, thinking that Bitcoin may go down lower into the 50s or so. But you know what? The market is unpredictable. And with the ETFs now trading in Hong Kong, who knows? We could see massive buying that drives Bitcoin upwards in a big way. You know what's funny? Like, as bearish as some people are making it out to be, you look at this from all-time high right here, Bitcoin is only 13% off from their previous high. I don't know if you guys realize that. 13% off. That's nothing. And that's versus the 73,000 that we were at before, right? If you versus the previous high of 2021 of 69,000, we're less than 10% away. So again, to put things in perspective, I don't know how people could turn super bearish with Bitcoin being around 64,000. It doesn't make a lot of sense. If you look at the overall crypto market cap, it's 2.38 trillion with the T. I don't know about you guys, but I remember that number being 100 billion and we going below 100 billion. I remember we hit at one point like 88 billion or something like that. And that's when Bitcoin fell to like 3,000. ETH fell down to like $70. I remember when Bitcoin, the whole entire market cap was about 100 billion. And now we're sitting at 2.4 trillion. Okay, so again, to put things in perspective, it's not that scary compared to before. Yeah, I didn't know that we as humans had this technology to seed clouds. That's what caused it, because they overseeded the clouds. But like, if that's the case, can't all these desert areas just keep seeding in clouds, cause rain, and eventually turn their deserts into like, grassland or forest? You slowly do it, right? Like starting from the oceans, and you can't keep moving inwards. You just keep seeding the clouds and keep causing rain to happen. Eventually, you could convert large portions of desert into green areas, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if it's that easy, but it seems like it is. You just seed the clouds with salt or something, and it soaks in more humidity and water, and then it rains like crazy. Decades old tech. That's new to me. I never heard of that before. Seeding isn't cheap, George. Well, there's a lot of countries that are beyond rich, okay, especially in the Middle East. They have more money than they know what to do with. Can't they just start seeding more often and convert some of their deserts? I don't know anything about it, right? So I don't know how bad it is or how costly it is. I just found out about it recently. So I just find that that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. It requires more than water. Okay. If it worked easily, everyone would do it. Well, they do it in Dubai all the time. They just overdid it this last time. But I heard that they've been doing it for a while now. Uh-oh, people are saying it's crashing. Okay, guys, it's down like 500 points. It's not crashing. But it kind of sucks that we're not going upwards. So let's see what happens. This could be a fake out too, and then we go right back upwards. Clouds with knife. That could be a funny meme. That could be a funny meme. Rumor is they overdid the seeding, so more potential for damage. I'm just wondering why they did it in the first place. I almost feel like they knew Token 2049 was such a big thing. They wanted to do it ahead of time to rain a little bit, to cool things off, and maybe to like, you know, clean the roads or something. And then it turned out to be an absolute disaster. But anyways, it didn't affect Token 2049. It was still a great conference. And for what it's worth, it did cool down Dubai for like, you know, for the whole week, basically. EXO. I'm not sure that's right. Almost a new moon. What am I drinking? I'm drinking one of my old favorites, White Claw. The same approach they're doing with TikTok, they've been doing with crypto. They can't control it, they want it. That's pretty accurate, I would say. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. One up. I'm glad you understand. Chris Klein, do you think gamer coins will have a decent run this cycle? Is Ronin on your radar at all? You know what? I got turned off by Ronin ever since they had the biggest crypto hack in history of 700 million. And I found out they only had 8 validators, and that's why they got hacked. That turned me off really badly. Hopefully, they made some security changes so that doesn't happen again. But gamer coins, I've been tracking them. I've been investing. I'm advisor for a few of them, like Wagme Games and DeFi Kingdoms, and also a few other ones. And I've been pitched a lot of these new games that are coming out. But games are just not that popular right now. I mean, in terms of users, yeah, there are people playing crypto games, but not a whole lot of people are buying their tokens. The newer crypto games don't actually require a token at all, right, to play. So there are a lot of users, but people aren't buying and holding their tokens. So they're actually not doing that well in terms of price appreciation. That could change. I think games will still drive millions of users to crypto, but it may take time, maybe next year or later this year when the market picks up. And these games have to do a really good job convincing gamers that they actually need their tokens. Does China have their own grayscale? Hopefully not. I don't know of any ETFs or trusts from China that now can sell. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they do have their own. I don't actually quite know. You all got to see the bigger picture. Bitcoin is spreading more and more. Yes. It's quite simple. Demand is going up, supply is going down. And the more shenanigans that the governments around the world does, the more it's going to drive Bitcoin or people to Bitcoin. So if you understand that, if you're like Michael Saylor or me, and you truly understand what's going on, then there's no way you could be bearish on Bitcoin. You just can't. A lot of these games are straight trash. I mean, some of them are not. Some of them you could argue, or a lot of them you could argue, they don't need tokens, right? They're just games. They don't actually need tokens, but projects are forcing them. So I'll give you that. So that's why I've said gaming projects need to figure out how to entice or how to attract gamers into buying those tokens. They have to create real utility. Otherwise, it's pointless. You don't need him. You were pretty bearish yesterday. No, I wasn't. I gave two scenarios. One is Bitcoin goes sideways. That's not bearish. And two, Bitcoin could fall to 50-something thousand, right? So either case, Bitcoin will find its footing and make a next leg up. That's not being bearish. That's just reality. Crypto is the future. George, you had the best Q&A. I appreciate that. I think I have some of the best and most loyal fans, audience, subscribers, however you want to describe people, and I keep it clean and I ban the trolls. So I do argue that this is probably the best crypto Q&A there is on YouTube. Crypto Wendy needs to fight. I actually found someone that wants to challenge her, but Crypto Wendy. Crypto Wendy is different than Wendy. Crypto Wendy actually, I was talking to her today. She is interested in fighting, so we'll make that happen. But Wendy O would she's not gonna fight. She has told me she's not interested, even though she's training. That's okay. Fighting's not for everyone. But IFC is going to only get bigger and bigger and bigger. The next one next month during consensus is going to be big. And the one after that during Bitcoin 2024 will be even bigger. And then the one after that in Singapore during Token 2049 would be even bigger. How do you get fiber on carnivore diet? Oh, well, I have a mix. So I do eat some vegetables. That's for sure. Because if you don't eat vegetables, then you have to take some fiber supplements. It's not the same. But you know what? I like to say this. I converted one of my best friends on carnivore, also mixed in with vegetables. And it has done wonders for his knees after 3 weeks. Same thing. I told him. It was like a miracle, right? For months, I struggled with knee stiffness, soreness, weakness. And then after about 2 weeks about carnivore, it got so much better. He had the same thing, even worse. He had 2 knee problems. And that's because he caused himself by playing so much basketball. And he's like, it was so painful every day. He can't even jump. He can't really move, get out of the bed. Super painful. I'm like, hey, doesn't cost you anything to try carnivore. Just a few weeks. See how it is. It worked wonders for me. Today he's like, after 3 weeks, it is like a miracle. Like he could actually move around and not feel the pain. The soreness is gone. The stiffness is gone. It's like, it's a miracle. So I think just by cutting out all the bad carbs, basically it gets rid of the inflammation in your body. That's how I think, why it's working. It doesn't mean that a knee miraculously heals into a new knee. No, but it does get rid of the swelling and the inflammation, and it makes it so much easier to move around. I mean, anyone that's suffering from chronic knee problems or any kind of joint problems or anything like that, I highly suggest it. Just try it for 2 weeks and see if it works. Yeah, there are two Crypto Wendy's. One is Wendy O, and the one is just called Crypto Wendy. Janet No, Janet Yellen will not be in the next IFC. Ben is fighting again, but he's not going to be fighting Rand. That's just too unfair. But I'm hoping Sheldon will fight. I'll figure it out. I'm reaching these guys, trying to convince them all. It's going to happen. All right, guys. To conclude, unfortunately, Bitcoin started out pretty good when the Hong Kong market opened up. Now it came back down a little bit, but not all is lost. Keep in mind, today's the first day. This is barely, not even an hour in. Things could change very rapidly, okay? But we have Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs open and now trading in Hong Kong. And over time, this could definitely add enormous amount of buying pressure to the space, and that is fantastic. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.